Good morning, Montclair State. Welcome back to the Wednesday edition of the Morning Buzz. I'm your host, Carly Campbell. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Ah,
And I am your co host, Sabrina Heisuk. And our newscaster for today is
I'm Reed
Tom.
Carter. Hi guys. I'm back. I've made my long-awaited return today.
Welcome.
excellent.
We're so happy to have you on the show today, Thomas. And of course, our sportscaster as well.
What's up, Campbell? How you doing?
Hi, Campbell Diving here for the Sportscast. Hi, guys.
Hey, two
Good
minute.
morning, everyone. It's
Good-
officially 23 more days until Halloween.
Oh my
So
god, I don't want
it's
to think.
spooky season.
It's like the moment October starts, it's like there's this meme on Tumblr or something where it's like, have you guys seen the thing where with the guy in the pumpkin suit dancing to Ghostbusters?
I do not know if I
Okay, it was
have
like a guy with
Carly.
like a pumpkin head and like a black bodysuit, and he's just dancing, and it's such a vibe. But really, speaking of vibes, what's our newscast for today?
Oh wow, it's very early. I didn't think I would be called on. All right. So let's start off. So first, in national news, the two vice presidential nominees, incumbent Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris, will square off in the first and only vice presidential debate. The candidates will be surrounded by plexiglass as a precautionary measure due to concerns about the coronavirus. The top issues on voters' minds are the COVID pandemic and the economy. Polls show that voters disapprove of President Trump's handling of the COVID pandemic. However, voters seem to approve more of the president's handling of the economy. Last night, Joe Biden stated that if President Trump still tests positive for COVID, the debate should not be held. President Trump has stated that he will be showing up to the second presidential debate on October 15th. There are currently talks of holding the debate virtually, especially since Dr. Fauci stated that it is not only possible that the president is still carrying the COVID virus, but also possible that he could relapse. Finally, a couple of quick New Jersey political news stories. First, Phil Murphy slammed Republican Senate nominee Rick Mata after he refused to quarantine after attending President Trump's Bedminster fundraiser, which occurred one day before President Trump tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. Rick Mata stated that Governor Murphy is, quote, fear-mongering, and the governor fired back by stating that he doesn't even know who Rick Mata is and that these statements should disqualify him from seeking public office. Finally, polling in the highly contested second congressional district race between Jeff Van Drew and Amy Kennedy shows that the Democrat turned Republican Jeff Van Drew is trailing the Kennedy by 49 to 44 margin. And this could have implications as well on the governor race, as Chairman Douglas Steinhardt, who is heavily mulling a run for the governorship, has prided himself on rebuilding the Republican base in New Jersey, and has stated that one of his proudest accomplishments is getting Jeff Van Drew to switch from Democrat to Republican. Now back to you guys.
All right, thank you so much, Thomas. And I think it's about time for our 2 minute warning with Campbell. Campbell?
Thank you, Carly. Time for the 2-minute warning. Last night, the Yankees took a tough 7-5 loss in Game 2 of the ALDS to the Tampa Bay Rays, despite a strong showing from Giancarlo Stanton. And when he hit that rocket last night, 458 feet to the moon at Petco Park, everyone thought it was going to be all Yankees, but the Rays literally shut them down. And the Astros, Dodgers, and Braves all won their respective games yesterday in their series, and everyone will all play tonight. In hockey, the NHL draft was last night. The New York Rangers had the first overall pick, and they picked Alexis Lafreniere, the consensus number one pick. One of the few Quebec guys from Quebec last time, Marc-Andre Fleury, who was selected from the Cambrian Eagles to the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Devils also selected Alexander Holtz, a forward from Sweden, with the 7th overall pick. The NBA Finals had the Lakers beat the Miami Heat last night by a score of 102 to 96 behind 28 points from LeBron James. The Los Angeles Lakers are one way from reaching the mountaintop again and claiming another NBA Finals championship. Congrats to the Seattle Storm for winning another WNBA Finals, defeating the Las Vegas Aces 92-59. Brianna Stewart, the former UConn standout and national champion, is the MVP. And one story she had when she tore her Achilles during the season. The MLS has the Red Bulls take on Inter Miami, and NYCFC will play against DC United. Now, NYCFC, or I should say Red Bulls, their former goalkeeper Luis Robles, who's on Inter Miami, he will not play due to a broken arm. College football has D1 AA standout quarterback from North Dakota State University, Trey Lance, declared for the NFL draft. Now, North Dakota State had a quote unquote exhibition game the past week, and it showcased Trey Lance and what he's done for his team. And he will not play in the spring because he will declare for the draft. He's one of those top prospects from those D1 AA schools. And the LSU Mizzou, or I should say Missouri game, has been postponed and moved because of Hurricane Delta is making its way through the country of Mexico. That is your 2-minute warning today here on WMSC 90.3 Upper Montclair, the voice of Montclair State University. We'll throw it back to you, Carly.
Thank you so much, Campbell. All right, let's get right into the news for today. White House advisor Stephen Miller has tested positive for the coronavirus / COVID-19, in addition to his wife and secretary to Mike Pence, Katie Miller. So Stephen Miller is a proponent for the policies that are most notorious with Trump, namely separating families at the Mexican-American border and the Muslim ban in 2017. This comes in the wake of 24 close contacts of the White House, including, but not limited to, Kellyanne Conway, Hope Hicks, and of course, the president himself testing positive for the novel coronavirus. President Trump yesterday announced that he is, quote, feeling better than he did 20 years ago, unquote, when it came to leaving Walter Reed on Monday night. There is very, very high there's a serious chance that possibly there may not be another in-person debate between Biden and Trump. Biden has said that if Trump still has coronavirus, he would not want to risk a debate. And of course, this comes as over more than 200,000 Americans have tested positive and have died from the novel coronavirus. Honestly, this is insane. Like, knowing that first and foremost, they weren't taking proper precautions. Like right now, in order to be in the studio, I'm wearing a mask, I'm wearing gloves. I even have these little cool covers on my headphones to make sure that, like, if anything happens, no one will get sick. And I really feel that they're downplaying this whole virus. What do you think, Sabrina?
And I mean, not for nothing, Carly, but Trump is getting some of the best medical treatment anyone else. Like he's getting better medical treatment than anyone else in this world right now. He has all the top-notch doctors giving him the best medicine out there. And of course, it's great. I'm happy that he's feeling well. I wish no one harm. But the fact is that, like, why isn't this medical treatment available for other people, for the 200 and over 200,000 people who've already died from the coronavirus? Where was this medical treatment then and for them? Everything is so crazy. And I just think back to last week when we were discussing the debate after it had just happened, and it already feels like that was like a year ago. Like,
yeah,
like so long. And I remember we were talking about this and how there were supposed to be at least 2 more debates for Biden and Trump. And I said to you and Lewis, like, oh, like, well, you never know, like maybe there won't be another debate. And Lewis was like, oh, there's gonna be a debate. And I was like, I don't know, like maybe something will happen. And I just want to say maybe I have like psychic abilities or something, but like
maybe
I don't
like
know
Back to the
how.
Future.
I knew it. I was like, I'm just feeling like there's not going to be another debate. I mean, maybe there still will be. I don't know anything as a fact, but it's definitely not looking the best.
Definitely.
Well, like I said before, they can always do it over Zoom.
Are you sure though? Because like
No.
I can see a lot of errors with that. You know what I mean? Like all I'm saying is it just takes one person to share a Zoom link, and all of a sudden you have a bajillion people like quoting Howard Stern and just saying "Baba Booey" over and over,
Okay,
trying to make a serious point.
Carly, they're not gonna give out this Zoom link to like the public.
All I'm
Like,
saying is it
"Hey,
takes one
everyone."
slip up and then a
Everyone
million people just playing the same five sound effects over and over as they're trying to talk about serious policy.
Mhm. Yeah, no, and also, I mean, I feel like with the whole Zoom thing, it would be just a very different feel to it. Like I've seen on like CNN where they like interview people through Zoom, especially like during the quarantine, but it's for a debate, I feel like it wouldn't be the same,
Well,
you
they're
know.
doing Zoom calls right now for like the congressional debates going on in the state.
Mhm. Yeah, like I think it would work. It just wouldn't have that same like it wouldn't be as special, like as big of a thing. Like people would still watch it, but I don't feel like it would get as much attention as the other debates have.
Plus, like, you also have to think that's like for local elections. And even though, it's stuff for like House representatives, even if it's like New Jersey state, you still have to think about the fact like the optics. We've never had a debate where candidates were in two separate places at the same time. It's going to it's going to be a lot more awkward, and we don't exactly know what's going to happen given like we don't know if Trump, as we said earlier, is going to relapse. We don't know if the symptoms are going to get worse, and we just have to be careful. Just always
Yeah, and
proper
going
precautions. Wash your hands.
for sure. And going back to how the president is being treated right now, word is in that the president is being treated with dexamethasone. Okay, this is a really hard word to pronounce.
With serious
Our fact
medication.
checker just gave us a really interesting fact, but I'm not sure I know exactly how to pronounce this word. But he's being treated with dexamethasone. Methazone. Carly, can you pronounce that? That's a lot
Um,
out there.
Dexamethasone. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, that was beautiful.
Thank
Which is
you. I guessed that entire pronunciation.
you said it with so much confidence, so I was like, oh,
I
that
do
must
that a
be.
lot. I mispronounce things with the utmost confidence, and my mom is very, very well aware of that. Hi, mom, if
That's
you're watching.
That's what I should do too, but it's a powerful steroid recommended for use in severe cases of COVID-19. So basically, Trump is getting some of the like the best medicine you could possibly get out there, and although the drug can carry serious psychological side effects. So I hope they don't, you know,
I really think that if he's taking something like this, I don't mean to sound like ableist or anything. I really feel like he shouldn't be at the helm of, like, this is just my
the White
opinion. Yeah,
House.
of course, my opinion, and it does not reflect that of WMSC or Montclair State University. This is just my opinion, and it does also not represent anyone else's on the Morning Buzz. I just really don't think that it's wise for him to be the one at the helm. Obviously, there's something like the 25th Amendment, but I don't think they'll be able to do something like that. And of course, if you're on that drug, you have to be very, very sick with COVID in order to be
Hmm.
on it.
And I'm just thinking to myself, if he's using the most like a drug that's used for the most severe cases, why is he saying that he's never felt this good in 20 years? Like, why is he going back to the White House? You know,
Exactly.
Not
why is
only is
he
he
coming?
saying that, he's making all these tweets that said "I survived," and I read this morning about how he is now working on commemorative coins that said "I survived COVID."
It's like one of the. You guys remember when, like, did you guys have Scholastic book fairs when you were kids, or
Yeah, yeah.
okay? You know those like weird books where it's like I survived, and then it's like all these serious historical events. Do you think they're gonna do one on I survived COVID-19?
For Trump,
I don't know. It
it's
sounds the way that you described it, Thomas. It sounds a lot like one of those books, like the paperback ones that I see for like $5 on the bottom shelf of a Scholastic Book Fair sign.
I think that'd be like one of like the craziest things because I remember like looking at those books as a young age, and you think, oh my goodness, like what is that? And then now we're here, like as young adults, and we look back on it, it's like if they might make a book about it, it's gonna be like very like intriguing for the this like generation of like 10, 11-year-old kids who are gonna like look back on it and be like, holy cow, like this disease like was like so big, and it, it's just crazy.
Yeah, and it's so crazy to think about like what little kids nowadays must be thinking throughout this year. Like I wonder if they're aware or like if their parents share with them some of the things that are going on. Cause as a parent too, this is a tough decision. It's like, do I tell my child that we're living through a pandemic right now? Like, will that scare them? How will that make them feel? And even of course, like with the whole making them wear masks, that's very important, but it's still a lot to wrap around a little kid's head.
Right. I also have to say, um, this is kind of related to like growing up with COVID-19. I was at Build-A-Bear the other day because my roommate, if she's listening, hi Catherine, hope you're recovering. She had to go back home to Connecticut for wisdom teeth removal, and I had gone to Build-A-Bear to get her like a little get well presents. That way, when she comes back later this week, I could just say, "Hey, what's up?" I took care of the room, I guess. Um, and one of the things I noticed was they had Build-A-Bear masks, like the logo, not just for like, cute like adult things, like if you're walking past the thing in the mall and you think, "Oh, that's kind of funny. I like that." But they have it for kids and they have it for the bears. And I thought, "Oh my God, this could be for some kids their first real memory." Like how for some kids growing up in the 90s, knowing like stuff like 9/11 or other serious events like Hurricane Katrina, like that's one of the things that I feel is going to be really formative on the psyche of the next generation. And I sound like, God, I sound like a psychiatrist and I'm just a journalist. I can't really make these inferences at like 8:17 in the morning. But this is going to be really serious for the next generation.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? Okay, this is still on the topic, but a little bit off topic. But you know what I wish we had?
What?
Masks for dogs, because I think that would be the funniest and the cutest thing ever to put like a little mask on your dog. And especially like my dog, he's always going up to other dogs and like kissing them.
He's not social distancing,
He's
yeah.
not social distancing. My dog doesn't like to listen. But if he had a mask on, not only
What
would
about
that
long
be
snoot
cute.
dogs? Like those like Russian dogs where they have like the long snout that like goes into 5 other rooms before like you even see the face.
Oh my, that would that would have to be a really big mask or like a really stretchy one too.
Would it be like the kind of thing that you do for like horses when you want to give them food? Like where you have to like just put it right there?
Hmm. No,
Yeah,
but
I
like
don't know. I'm thinking over this too much, but
yeah.
I
No, but
think
going back to the White House, I just think it's so crazy how, here are the people who are leading this country, who are supposed to be setting the prime example of what all of us Americans should be doing. And then they had that whole Rose Garden ceremony for the nomination of Amy Coney Barrett, and how that was such a super spreader event. Like here they were all outside, none of them were social distancing. There were people hugging, touching each other. Only very few people were wearing masks. And it's like it just shows you right there like the effects of COVID and how easily people can get it. I mean, you were naming off a list of people who are big political figures who were at that event and who have COVID now. And it just really shows you the impact that these large group gatherings have.
plus like honestly, I feel like you even if it's outside, this is my opinion again, you should be wearing masks. Even if it's like, you're a bajillion feet apart from someone and you're just playing a game of like cornhole with the boys at your local barbecue. I feel like you still should be wearing masks because you don't know what the boys have. You're not like going up to your best boy with his barbecue. I'm saying a lot of words with B starting it with it's alliteration this morning. You're not gonna be up to your best boy at the barbecue like, "Hey bro, pass me the cornhole." And you're not gonna know if he's passing you COVID in addition to a really cool beanbag into the cornhole thing. I've never played cornhole. I just know it
You
because my
never, what?
my dad plays it all the time. I'm not very educated when it comes to sports, which is why we have
It's not,
Campbell here for the
Carly,
morning.
cornhole is not a sport. I love you, but cornhole is not a
Campbell, we
sport.
need your opinion. Is cornhole a sport?
There is a cornhole league that is airing usually on ESPN2.
Thank you.
Campbell, you really disappointed me there. I can't believe
Campbell's
you
on
let
my
me down like
side.
this.
It's been on for quarantine reasons since there's been no special sports. You gotta watch cornhole on ESPN2.
You got to watch me and the boys playing some cornhole, at the barbecue with your
Lovely.
soda and
Oh
your
my.
plate of ribs that you're holding awkwardly under your like arm like it's a baby. Not calling anyone out, of course, but I think we should move on to our next story that has nothing to do with cornhole, but it has everything to do with the government. Let's talk about the 2020 election coming up. We have more than 3 million ballots that have been cast in the 2020 election, way ahead of November 3rd, which is, of course, Election Day. So, in states like New Jersey, for example, you can send in your ballot and you get your ballot sent in automatically depending on where you live. Of course, this doesn't apply for all states, such as North Carolina, which has gotten 9 times the usual amount of ballot requests just for this election alone. This comes as people are concerned about possibly catching infection at the polls. People are scared of, multi-touch surfaces. You got to pick up the pen and got to circle this and write that and just say, yes, this is my name, whatever. And this also is a huge, huge increase when it comes to elections because we could find the result a lot earlier than we thought, like we mentioned like last week's episode. And more than 32 million mail-in ballot requests have been made in just 37 states. That is insane. Like I already voted, and I'm glad that other people are getting the opportunity to vote from home. Because honestly, as much as I'd love my hometown, I don't think I can do a $60 Uber ride from Montclair to my hometown back to Montclair. I love the town. I love
Well,
rideshare
isn't
stuff.
there, Carly, I'm pretty sure there is a place to vote right on campus.
There is. It's just I never changed my registration because I don't. At the time, I didn't know if I would still be dorming. And plus, like the first time I voted, I wanted it to be like a moment of glory where I asked my dad, "Hey, Dad, can you drive me to back home so I can vote?" And then I did, and I felt like really awesome. And then I just went back home. It was a long drive, but you know what? I was glad to see my dad and also vote. 'Cause democracy's cool.
It's kind of disappointing for me because this is my first time voting, so
Yeah, it is kind of weird. Like, I know for a lot of people, like, it's going to be their first time voting, and this is my first time voting in a election that isn't like a local election.
so what
So
do you guys think about the president saying like there's like all this fraud that could happen because of mail-in voting?
that's a good question. Honestly, I feel we do need to be aware of voter intimidation at the polls. Like, there are hotlines in place in different languages, like not just English, but in Spanish, Arabic, Korean, Russian, all these lines that you can have as an option. And I do feel that voter intimidation is going to be a serious talking point at the next debate. And plus, of course, a lot more people are going to be voting by mail. So there is that, as long as they remember to fill out the ballots. Just for those who haven't voted, usually there is like a pamphlet that they give you to explain how to like safely mail your ballot. So be sure to
To
follow that.
make sure that your ballot like reached the place, you can register online to track your ballot. Like I'm gonna do that as soon as you have to wait until you mail in your ballot because I tried to call my board of elections yesterday to do that, and they said like you have to like wait until you actually physically mail your ballot,
Right.
and it'll tell you like you know like did it go there. I think it also might tell you who you voted for.
I don't know.
That's
Either
good.
that is pretty good. I'm glad with technology.
And I definitely feel like this year, tons of people are gonna vote, and I feel like the biggest difference between this election versus like the Hillary and the Hillary and Trump election back a few years ago is that with Hillary and Trump, so many people just like disliked both of them, so they chose not to vote because they don't like either one of them. But I feel like with this election, there's more of like a separation of what people feel towards one candidate versus the other. And I feel like there's a lot stronger feelings. So I definitely see like a lot more people voting this year, which is good because the whole problem with the Trump and Hillary election back 8 years ago was that was it 8 years ago?
Oh my God, no, it's
It wasn't that
4.
4 years ago.
If it
Sorry,
was
sorry.
8 years ago,
I was
I'd
having, I
already
was
be
having, I
out
was
of
like,
here.
I had a brain freeze. I was like, wait, 8 years ago, I was in like, how old was I 8 years ago? 11? I was like, wait, that's not right.
Yeah,
I was
just
saying
like
4 years ago.
you just had like a
Um,
Benjamin Button kind of thing where it just like you were like really tiny and then all
it's
of a
too
sudden,
early.
listen,
No,
I
but
totally understand. It's way too early. That's why I brought like this with me in the studio because like I just need something to like lean on.
wait,
It's like a stuffed
is that a stuffed animal?
yes. I just need like something to like support my arm because like
Hmm.
it's early in the morning. I feel tired and I'm hungry, so I just want something to just like lean my arm against.
Lovely, Carly. Anyways, but the biggest thing with 4 years ago was that not that many people voted. There were so many people who didn't like either one of the candidates, so they chose not to vote at all. And that's an issue because like you should vote for even if like or I mean, from my personal opinion, I feel like um like I would want to vote like dependent on whoever I think the better candidate is. Like I personally would not choose to not vote at all.
And plus,
Even,
there's
even if
more.
you don't like Trump or Biden, there are still down ballot races that you can vote in where there are.
Right. And plus, besides obviously, candidates, there are still issues that might be on your ballot. For example, if you want to see more funding going to your schools, if you want better transportation, if you want to, well, I'm not quite sure if I'm allowed to talk about this, but I do know that there is something on the New Jersey ballot for legalizing a certain substance. There are different options that are available on your ballot. It's not just candidate A, candidate B. It's also issue 1, issue 2. You're making a genuine change in your community. And this is, of course, my personal opinion.
Yeah, no, you're completely right, Carly. But moving a little bit away from politics, let's get into some fun stuff, guys. All right, so as you guys probably know, because I mentioned it in the first minute of our show, there are approximately 23 more days until Halloween.
Woo!
So this year, the CDC is actually discouraging trick-or-treating, but Governor Phil Murphy just announced that Halloween is still on in New Jersey, just with a few recommended rules and regulations that he wants people to follow. And just a few of them are, to list them off, like just here are 3. He wants trick-or-treaters and those distributing candy to be wearing masks. Groups should be limited to household members, and he wants handling out candy is not to be recommended. So, but there are still plenty of safe ways to celebrate and go trick-or-treating, such as wearing a disposable or reusable cloth mask under your traditional Halloween costume mask or Halloween themed face mask, which is pretty cool because this year they came out with a whole bunch of masks that kids could just wear to go trick-or-treating, and they could be completely safe with like either like I saw some with like a Hulk design on it, like animal designs, like scary clowns, skeletons, pumpkins. There were some Star Wars themed ones, and even some just plain black masks that give it kind of like a spooky theme, which I like. And then, I have this quote from Governor Phil Murphy. He actually stated, "Wear a mask that covers the nose and mouth. You may wish to dress like a knucklehead, but we don't wish anyone to act like one." End quote. And I personally love that quote because it's giving the right message. It's like, yeah, like you can go out and trick or treat. Like I'm allowing you guys to do this. You just have to make sure that you're being smart about it and you're not being reckless and you're still following the rules, but we can follow the rules and still have a good time. And I think that's the perfect message to give out to people because more than anything, we need to celebrate. We need to have some fun nights to remember in Halloween, like trick-or-treating, because I know obviously you guys all still go trick-or-treating, right?
I don't, but like, hold on. Do you guys remember back in like 2012 when Chris Christie canceled Halloween?
I know.
Yeah,
Oh my
Wait,
god.
Yeah,
I forget,
That's
why
that
did
the
he
was
second.
cancel it? Because it was
it
the
was like Sandy. Sandy.
Yeah, it was
yeah, it
Hurricane
was Sandy.
Sandy. Oh my god. And it was like the one year where I had the worst costume and my brother came out with the best one. Like he
Mhm.
was dressed as Super Mario, I was just dressed as a ghost, and it was before they had a lot of ghost costumes for girls, so I just had to get like a guy's costume and just like white face paint. It was sad. but it was
Uh,
weird.
What if one of
Yeah.
the people you knock? What if one of the people like you go one of the people's houses you go to, like what if they have COVID though? Like isn't that a possibility?
But that's why they want, like, if Phil Murphy is saying, like, if you are handing out candy, which he doesn't like recommend that you do, but like as they have to be wearing a mask too. So at least they'd still be wearing the mask, and like if you get the candy, okay, hypothetically speaking, like if they were to say to like get the COVID on the candy, at least the candy's all individually wrapped.
That is
You know?
true, but like at the same time, I do think that it's not a good idea. Personally, I don't think it's a good idea to go trick or treating. Like I feel like you could just
Okay,
take
this is gonna be a
pictures.
debate then. Let's go,
Yeah, I
Carly.
mean,
Okay, who's
okay,
on Carly's side?
I mean, I feel that you can.
Thomas Campbell, what do you think? Trick or treating or no trick or treating?
But I have a question for this though,
Okay.
and then we'll get back to like the whole trick or treating, no trick or treating debate. But if like you have like those like clown masks or like those Michael Myers Halloween masks from the movies,
Mhm.
and you have to like wear that like and you have to wear like a disposable mask. Like how tough would that be? Because like if little kids are wearing like those like plastic mask or like those like crazy like Halloween like scary mask, and then you have to wear like the face mask underneath. Like it would probably bother them. No.
That's gonna
Well,
like be a decision thing for like most costumes.
I'm just
Yeah.
going to show you, actually, I'm going to share my screen in 1 second and show you some of the face masks that are actually being sold nowadays purposely for like the reason you just said. So like they could wear a mask like this one that's right here, like the Hulk mask, instead of literally putting on like a rubber mask. And they have like a bunch of them that with like animal designs and like clown designs and some other weird ones and pumpkin designs. So this is an easy way for people to not have to worry about having the double masks on and just wear like the simple cloth mask just with a Halloween design on it, and you basically get the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm. Just I don't think trick or treating should be an option. If anything, like I'm more than happy for like parents for like nostalgic purposes. Take a picture of their little Billy and Bobby and whatever, and their cutesy little Halloween costumes for the memories and for the Facebook page. I don't think it's a good idea though to have them go out and like do that. Sure, they could like see their friends at a distance, but trick or treating, I feel, should not be an option. Just go out and buy your own candy.
Just to clarify, Phil Murphy said that he wants only you to be trick-or-treating with your family members. Like he doesn't want groups of people. He doesn't want groups of friends. He wants you guys all to be just with your family unit when you go trick-or-treating, or if you choose to go trick-or-treating. And Carly, I respectfully disagree. I believe that as much, like obviously I believe that we should follow the rules and we should be as safe as we can doing anything nowadays, and we should be smart. But I also feel like like mental illness is a serious thing. And so many kids have been depressed during this entire pandemic. Like, think of those kids who have not gone to school at all this entire school year. Think about those little kids.
That
Think
is
about how
true.
they are being mentally impacted and how much they look forward to Halloween every single year. And anything's a risk. Really, anything's a risk nowadays. And I feel like there are so many ways, like the risk percentage is so low if you follow all these rules on Halloween. And the amount of happiness this will bring the kids is definitely worth those, like that tiny bit of risk. Or at least depending on the kid, like if the kid obviously has like some sort of disability or some kind of immunocompromise, like I definitely agree, like maybe like he shouldn't go out and trick or treat, but there's still ways to get around that. There's so many ways you could still celebrate the holiday by being safe.
I just think, for safety's sake, sure, like I want to see kids happy. It's sad that like pretty much some of their foundational years have been dominated by being alone and not being able to communicate, especially in like for very young kids. I can't imagine what it's like being like being a parent to a kid in preschool right now when it comes to this, because this is where kids start to socialize and develop social skills that'll go with them into adulthood. I think that, however, even if it is something nice and a nice change of routine and something fun for the whole family, I just also want to think, if we're going to talk about fun for the whole family, let's also focus on the family members that could possibly get it. Even if kids aren't as seriously impacted by coronavirus as adults, kids can still be carriers. They still can be asymptomatic and possibly.
I want to correct you on that because I was reading about this lately, and the percentage of children that actually carry the coronavirus is so rare. Everyone assumes that, oh, kids, they carry all these germs, they touch everything. And although some of that is true, kids do touch a lot of things and put their hands in their mouth, which is not good. But the percentage of kids that actually carry the coronavirus is so little. It is such, it's a, what's the word? It's not a false impression. It's not correct information. People are making it seem like kids can so quickly pick up the coronavirus, although they can. They don't get me wrong, they can, it's possible. It's just so low.
It just, the other thing I have to think about is, of course, when kids go trick or treating, sometimes parents want the finder's fee. You know what I mean? Like, I'm saying this as experience because I have serious peanut allergies and nut allergies, and I can't have like Reese's Pieces or anything like that. So my dad usually has to, separate the candy. He takes the finder's fee, which I think is, I get it. I can't eat it, but come on, Dad. Come on, dude. I saw you taking a chocolate bar that didn't even have anything in it, just straight up chocolate. But we have to also think, the parents are going to be with them, taking the photos, taking the candy. They're going to be the ones interacting with the strangers
Not
sometimes.
necessarily. I don't think many parents would be interacting with strangers this year, given the circumstances.
That is
I'm,
true, but like you also have
unless,
to
like,
think,
okay, you could finish.
you got to
Continue.
think about the wrappers. Like, even if, not everyone has those like weird spray bottle things that look like it's out of like a music video from like the 80s where it's just like fog of like mist sanitization. Not everyone has those. And I don't think if people have them, they're going to like do that directly on the bowl of candy that they're going to give out to little Jimmy in the neighborhood.
But the thing is, they could come home and literally disinfect all their candy wrappers, and the candy inside of those candy wrappers will not be affected. I mean, they won't get any of the sanitizer on them, they won't get any of the Febreze on them or whatever you spray at them. They will still be perfectly fine. It's only the very rare chance of like a little bit of it getting on the wrappers. And even if it does get on the wrapper, what's going to be the first thing you do when you come home? You're going to wash your hands. You're gonna open up the candy wrapper, you're gonna wash your hands again. Like, as long as kids continue to wash their hands, I personally think they're gonna be okay. And if you're gonna live in fear over that tiny percentage of COVID-19 that could be on your wrapper, like, you might as well live in a bubble. Because even if, let's say that, like, that one little grain of COVID-19, you first off, if it gets on your hands and you pick it up and you bite into it and you swallow it, when you swallow things and when you drink things, it goes down into your stomach. When COVID-19 goes down into your stomach, there's no way of it, like, it goes in and out. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't crawl back up. Like, as long as it goes down into your stomach, you are good. And the percentage, the like 0.0005 percentage chance that you could get it from that tiny little wrapper is so rare that I just feel like I would personally rather risk that tiny chance to have one great memory of 2020 and to be a little happy for one day and to spend time enjoying life with my kids. And yeah.
I don't know. I'm speaking as someone with experience in candy. Like, I distinctly remember when I was but a little kid. I remember like one of the things that we put on the script was best Halloween costumes. There was a year where I broke my collarbone and I was a cat for Halloween, so I looked like a cat that needs like vet attention. It was just like my arm was in a sling, and at the same time, I'm hungry because I'm trick or treating out with friends, and I'm like, okay, okay, my mom's here. She said I could have just one piece of candy, but I always snuck more than one piece of candy. And I'm just saying, kids are tempted to just pop open their bag, pop in the candy, continue trick or treating. That's, I'm speaking from experience, of course. Like, I know that things are going to change, and obviously parents are going to be a lot more serious when it comes to sanitization, but kids love candy. Adults love candy too. I know my dad would, if he actually was around to do trick or treating, he'd probably be like, Dad told coming through, and you just pick up a handful of my candy. And he stole my candy once, like it was like election day or something. He stole all my candy, and he tried to pay it off with Malomars, but you weren't slick, Dave. I know what you did. But
Wow. I
yeah,
think I feel like we all have experience with our parents taking our candy or us taking our like younger siblings candy. I know my brother could definitely attest because I have taken his candy before. And to this day, he still uses it against me, but that's okay. No, but going back to what you were saying, Carly, with the whole parents thing, I think maybe like if I were a parent, what would I would take the bag of candy from my kid and like let them, get the candy, and then like I would hold open the bag and they would put it in. And like I would keep holding on to the bag just because I wouldn't want that situation that you just mentioned to happen where the kid is like slipping candy like as they're, you know, going trick or treating. Like I feel like if I were a parent, that's what I would do to avoid that. And I feel like there's many ways, like just carrying around your little sanitizer. Like, sorry, I just got all these really amazing sanitizers from Bath and Body Works, and they smell so good. I was telling them before, this one smells, it's strawberry pound cake, and it smells so good that every time I sniff it, like I genuinely want, like this sounds gross, but I genuinely want to eat it because it smells so good, but not
don't
actually.
eat hand sanitizer. This
But it
morning
just
buzz
smells
warning.
so good, Carly. It smells so good.
Just go get some strawberry pancake if you're
It
that
smells like
hungry.
strawberry pound cake. And I'm like, I love that. All right, guys. But I want to get more opinions from some of our other people on this chat right here. So like how about like I'm gonna ask you guys this. Like how are you planning on celebrating Halloween this year, if at all?
Hmm.
Probably not. Probably just gonna stay home.
I
Okay.
mean, when I used to live like I used to live on like a main side street, I guess, and then a one block, like there was like this one street that's usually blocked off for all kids, and it'd be down the block, shut down at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon after school, and we say, oh, when his page getting blocked off, and then you see the cops come, they get the crossroads guardrail sign, the caution, whatever, and they block off the street and stuff, and you see all the kids in their costumes, and they all go down, and they all say trick or treat and stuff, and I I think I think they could do it. It's just how like the people who are like either if you're gonna distribute the candy or you're gonna leave it and probably put out a sign that says take one or a few, make sure you wash your hands or stuff. I think if people would take precautions and like follow the rules that Governor Phil Murphy has installed for all kids around the state of New Jersey to have trick or treating, I think they'll be fine.
I completely agree. And that just made me think of an idea what you were saying, Campbell. What if like they actually like every like I know this isn't a requirement, but it would be cool if there was a requirement that every person who gave out candy had to have like a thing of sanitizer right there so that like before the kids grab the candy or after the kids touch the candy, they could just sanitize their hands. They could even sanitize the candy because it's in a wrapper. So it's like,
How would you
no,
manage
it won't hurt.
that? Like, would you have like the police go around every corner and make sure like there was a sanitizer there?
I mean, obviously not literally, but it's something that could make a big difference. Whoa, what if people gave out like sanitizers for
Oh
Halloween?
my god,
Like
that
kids
house
went
would
to
get
come and
eggs.
get candy and it
That
was just
house
like
What
would
about
get
like a pack
eggs.
mask too?
mass. That's a good idea. Like
That is true, but as someone that grew up in
I
Bergen
mean
County,
disappointing, but
someone that grew up in Bergen County and is very familiar with Mischief Night, which if you are not from Bergen County, I'll explain it. It's either called Mischief Night or Cabbage Night, depending on where you live. It was called Cabbage Night back at home. It's the day before Halloween where kids decide, hey, I'm going to waste toilet paper, some shaving cream, and in some cases, even though it is very illegal, and we do not suggest you do this, people throw eggs at houses. And knowing how sometimes like people still do that on Halloween day, even though you're not supposed to do it. Like I feel like if a house would be handing out sanitizer, as nice as that is, and it's very considerate and it's very nice. It just I feel like kids want candy. It's like going to the dentist's house and they're giving out like floss. That house would, in some other time, probably not now. That house would get egged like there was no tomorrow. That house would look like uh, breakfast Sunday morning, like just like covered in eggs.
Carly, I have a question though. Isn't Mischief Night the night before Halloween?
It's the night before
Yes.
Halloween, but some
But
people
then how would they know that that person's gonna give out candy or masks?
decide to continue after Mischief Night.
I mean, you're talking to a Southern Bergen County kid right here. I mean, Mischief Night's what is like probably the night for kids who like to mess around and stuff, and then maybe
It's like the Purge, but like
yes.
PG.
But it's funny because like Sabrina said, if that person whose house probably got teepeed or egged sells candy the next day, gives candy the next day, and they try to and those kids who probably did something funny or wanted to be funny the previous night and goes to that person's house, that person's gonna remember those kids who tried to be those wise guys, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, 100% Campbell. Wait, okay, guys. I had okay, my next question for you guys is, do you guys feel like people will actually follow Governor Phil Murphy's rules for trick-or-treating if kids do choose to go trick-or-treating?
I have a feeling they're not gonna. Like
No.
just knowing how some people like see this as like a suggestion and not, a law. I don't think people are gonna follow the rules. I think people are gonna think, okay, we're like the pandemic's over, we can do it. It's just gonna be like how some people think automatically when they go out to a restaurant or when they went down the shore during the summer. The pandemic is over. It's like on pause. Even pandemic's got to take a vacation. I feel like people are gonna be way too risky with this, and having that could lead to the second wave that we're very worried about.
I mean, I feel like the second wave is gonna happen
But I don't
either
want it to
way. Like
happen.
Halloween is not gonna be the make or break for the Halloween. Like I personally think that the wave is going to happen. But that's not gonna be because of Halloween.
The wave is going to happen, but I don't want the wave to be because I wanted to get full-size candy bars by going down to Alpine in a terrible costume, which did happen to me, by the way. I went down to Alpine. Alpine, for those who aren't from Bergen County, is one of the richest towns in the United States. It's also where I went once with a very poor costume to try to get some full size candy bars. I was a vampire, but I looked like a Hot Topic goth at best. I was in the 10th grade. Not 10th grade. Oh my god, I was 10. I think, actually, no, I was 9. My bad. So, honestly, I feel like people are going to flout the rules just to get the candy, even though it's because people really like traditions. Like, everyone likes watching the ball drop on New Year's Eve. Everyone likes watching the Super Bowl. I feel like everyone will really want to go to do Halloween just for normalcy.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. Yeah, I feel like some people definitely will follow these rules, especially if they have their parents there, because a lot of parents are taking this very seriously, especially in New Jersey. We're doing pretty good. I mean, I think the numbers are rising nowadays, but overall, we still have done a phenomenal job with the whole pandemic. And I feel as if the kids are being monitored by their parents, most of them will follow these rules. Of course, if the kids are out on their own, you don't know what's going to happen. But I feel like if you do have a parent there, it should hypothetically be a pretty safe situation. But yeah, we'll really see what happens. I'm sorry, guys. I really love talking about Halloween, so
And
bear
that's
with
totally
me.
valid. No worries.
Can I ask one last question?
Okay.
All right. What was your best Halloween costume?
Inflatable dinosaur costume.
You did that?
Yeah. I
Oh
still
my
have it.
goodness.
It's not with me on campus.
I love that. Campbell?
So a few years ago, I just like put on like makeshift costume or whatnot. So I had like a Cardinals jersey, like Arizona, and it was Matt Larned. He was the former quarterback with the USC national champion. So a kid on the block like turns around, like I was like trick or treating with my friend, and I like turned the corner on his block, and it was like, and the kid was like, "Oh, Cardinals stink," and it was like, I turned around, I'm like, "Don't worry, it's top secret. I'm a New York Giants fan. Don't worry about it." He was like, "Oh, okay," and like it was like funny, like it's like the little things that like make like it worth it, because like,
They
I
were
mean,
actually good back then.
huh?
They were actually good back then.
Oh yeah. So that's another story, but yeah.
What about you, Thomas?
I can't really remember too many Halloween costumes. Um, Usually I just put on like a mask or like a small shirt or something. And I'll say like I'm a horse or I'm a referee or something. Or my idea that I just came up with is that I'm not gonna go with any costume. I'm just gonna walk around houses and I'm gonna be like trick or treat, and then they're gonna say, "Well, you don't have a costume." I'm gonna be like, "I do have a costume. I'm myself."
That's interesting. Kind of boring, honestly, but I'm not gonna give
Not gonna
you.
judge. This is a
Yeah, I'm
no
not gonna
judgment.
judge you. I just want to say my favorite costume that I had was last year from Monsters University. I was Uzma Kappa with a bunch of my friends, and I was Squishy
Oh
from
my god,
Monsters
I could see
University.
that. Who was Mike Wazowski? I need to see the Mike Wazowski photo.
No, we just. Oh wait, I don't think we had Michael Wazowski because it was like
Get
the original
out! What?
Uzma Kappa. Like we did. Oh, I don't even remember. We were just like, oh, we're all part of a frat. Me and my friends. We got like the OK shirts, and it
Oh
was
my
fun.
god. But I think we should move on to something a little bit more serious, especially since we are a radio station that plays a lot of rock. Eddie Van Halen died yesterday. His like I didn't know what to think after this because like I feel so bad because I didn't think that he would like he was oh my god I have like difficulty like speaking about this but he died at the age of 65 yesterday from cancer and this was given out by a person close to the family. His ex-wife and mother to his only child, Wolfie, said, quote, 40 years ago, my life changed forever when I met you. You gave me the one true light in my life, our son, Wolfgang. Through all your challenging treatments for lung cancer, you kept your gorgeous spirit and your impish grin. I'm glad Wolfie and I were able to hold you in our last moments. I'll see you in our next life, my love. That is heartbreaking. Like he had lung cancer. He had to like over the past 5 years he had to like travel between the US and Germany to get radiation treatment. Of course, he is the he was the creator of the band Van Halen and honestly like it's so difficult to like verbalize cuz this man like he has created like this huge like presence in rock and roll music. And what do you guys think about this?
It's very sad. He's one of the greats of all time. I'm a huge rock fan. I mean, his solo Eruption is one of the greatest guitar solos of all time.
Mhm.
Uh, Jump, Panama, the hits are endless. Hot for Teacher.
Just to segue off of that, Tom, like you said, Panama Jump, Ain't Talk About Love, Running with the Devil. I mean, those songs, you hear this countlessly in probably sports events or probably listening onto the radio or your CD player, but or like Spotify or YouTube or iTunes or stuff. But he is literally Van Halen. He's the lead guitarist. He was the creator. He is the band itself, and it's very difficult to comprehend when all the people who were born who lived in the 80s, the 70s into the 80s, and then the 90s and stuff. Like Van Halen was huge, and
Plus, he has
It's
like.
very difficult.
Mhm.
It's very difficult.
Plus, he had a hand in Michael Jackson's like a hit song "Beat It." Like he was the one that did that guitar solo. Just that alone, like that has like a huge like
I did not even know that.
Yeah.
that alone, like that's enough to really cement someone's like legacy. But he still had like a lot of hits, like you said before, and just him dying at 65, like that's what really is like tragic about all this.
All right. So Amanda's gonna bring up a video actually.
Oh, his classic eruption solo. This is one of the greatest guitar solos of all time.
Mhm.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah, that's
gosh.
crazy. As someone who played like a string instrument all throughout like high school and middle school and elementary school, like to be able to do that finger work that he does is so amazing.
And that's just only like a small piece of it too. Like wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Just wow.
I gotta say, because you look at like guitar solos, whether it be him, whether it be Slash with Guns N' Roses, um, I mean, like classical bands too, like the E Street Band, who are based in New Jersey, all those like rock bands, AC/DC with Angus Young and Malcolm Young, and I mean, solos, literally, like, it brings the best part out of like the whole like song in general when you have like those like solos and just like you're like so into it and like you just like, don't want it to stop.
right. Just I don't know how to. I'm speechless with all this. Like how okay, I think it might have been because he had like a cigarette on his guitar, but I thought for a second that the guitar was like smoking from like the effort he put in. Like, oh my god.
That'd be pretty crazy. I mean, like that's like a common misconception with like a lot of string instruments because they put rosin like on their bows, and when they play, like
Yeah.
sometimes the rosin comes off and it looks like white smoke, and people would always be like, "Oh, like their instrument is smoking." But I don't know if this would work. I don't think this is how the electric guitar works, but that'd be kind of cool. But it's a common misconception. All right, it looks like our show is coming to an end, guys.
Yeah.
How many more shows do we have until Halloween? So we got 14th.
I
Oh,
don't
we
know.
have
I don't
3
have a
more
calendar.
shows until Halloween, guys.
What? That's insane.
That's gonna be fun because we're gonna have more Halloween talk because
Right.
I love talking about Halloween. It's such a fun time.
Guys, before we like wrap up, do you have like any favorite Van Halen songs you have? Just
Jump.
name one. Jump.
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 Jump. I love Jump.
I think I'd go with either Running with the Devil or Ain't Talking About Love.
Okay.
That is a good opinion. All right. You're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, and this has been the Morning Buzz. I'm your host, Carly.
And I'm your co-host Sabrina.
Coast.
I'm your news contributor, Tom Starter.
And I'm your sports contributor, Campbell Donovan.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your week.